So in this video, I would like to give a review of this incubator. As for the actual brand name of this incubator, says the Household Intelligent Incubator. There's no brand name on it. There is no logo, no trademark, nothing copyright really that I could find, nor on the bottom that I can remember. I did get it on Amazon, and I have a list of pros and cons about this incubator. First pro, I'll start with the pros. So the first pro of this incubator is it's small. It doesn't take up a whole heck of a lot of space, depending. These tubes can be kind of a pain, but we'll get into that. However, it does not take up a whole lot of space for all intents and purposes. So it does hold 8 eggs, which is pretty good for its size. I've seen incubators this size that only have 6 sections in their spinner, or some that only have 4 eggs. Those are considerably smaller though. Another benefit is that it does spin the eggs. It does turn them on a timer. I think it's so many times a day, or every couple hours. It has a candler, which works fairly well. They could always be a little bit brighter. Let's see, you can adjust it reads in Fahrenheit. That's a plus if you live in the United States. Yeah, as far as and you can remove the egg turner. So you just take out the wheel, put something like a towel or paper towel or a puppy pad underneath or something, and it stops turning them, because the only thing that turns is a little wheel right there. There's the motor. See the motor with the positive and negative wire going, DC wires going to what I would think would be the controller up here. As far as the negatives go, let's see. First off is that there's no humidity control or hygrometer. There's just a temperature control thermostat. It's at 99 right now, and at my external probe thermometer reads 98.4. External probe thermometer is right here. So if you look in there, I'm turning the flashlight off there. So the probe is in a decent spot. It's right down there by the egg. So by that egg, and now we are reading 99.5. That's right where I want it, since I have call duck eggs in here. So far, only 2 eggs out of 6 hatched. Total, I had 8. 2 of them were not viable, which, happens. So, left with 6 eggs, and every time I do any hatching, I always keep pretty good records. So, my paper got wet. But another downside to this incubator is it takes these little bottles and has these cords to feed the water in. Now, that's nice if you need to keep the humidity high at all times, because it does considerably raise the humidity to. So if you have the vent closed here, I would say you get it up to about 65, 68, maybe 70. Yeah, it doesn't really, it's hard to get its humidity any higher than that. But if you leave those in and keep the vent closed, you'll have the humidity in not very high 60s. If you open that vent, humidity, and you only do one bottle, the humidity will stay around 45, 50 degrees. Now, one bottle with the vent closed will have the humidity around 55, 60. So there's really no good way to set the humidity, but yeah. But I mean, the bottles do help. Once you're in lockdown, you can just, that's why the bottles are sitting in here, because it's in lockdown. And I have the vent closed because I'm trying to keep the humidity high. It does have a candler. It's a decent candler. I mean, like I said, the incubator was about between $30 and $40. I think it was somewhere around $35. It was not expensive. It was very inexpensive. Another negative to this incubator is that you can't see it with a towel there, but the floor of it all curves away from the center point. So when you go into lockdown, you have to have something that keeps the eggs from rolling, because they will all roll to the edge, all the edges. That's kind of a pain. And even if you have like a puppy pad in there, sometimes they'll still roll. So you got to put something like a towel down, or if you have that mat stuff for the cabinet liner stuff, that's what I wanted, but I didn't have any. Other downside is that I don't trust that cheap little thermometer, which is why I put this thermometer in that has a probe. Only problem with this thermometer, I got this on Amazon for I think $9. The major problem with that is that the humidity level on that, the hygrometer, is in the device itself, not the probe. A probe is only a thermometer, not a hygrometer. So I'm not sure why they designed it like that. It beats the heck out of me. Another downfall, I mean, along with size being a good thing and being able to hold 8 eggs for the size being a good thing, it can also be a bad thing. It can also be a downfall. 8 eggs, it's kind of an odd number. I mean, it's not a half dozen, it's not a full dozen, it's 8. So a lot of times you either want to get half dozen or a dozen eggs. In that case, you would have some left over. While with chicken eggs or smaller eggs, you can fit 2 eggs in one of those. Duck eggs, it's only 1. And even though call duck eggs are about the same size as chicken eggs, so 1 egg. The only thing you can fit 2 of those, maybe bantam chickens. You could get away with 2 eggs per slot, but anything besides, or quail, of course, quail, you could fit 2 eggs in each one. Another downside of this is the instructions. I have not found replacement instructions for this incubator. So if anyone has replacement instructions or knows where to get them, please let me know in the comments. I've searched high and low to all the corners of the internet. I still cannot find the instructions for this device. Like I said, I got it on Amazon. Holds 8 eggs. Has a yellow top. So it says household intelligent incubator. Power 60 watts, voltage 110, frequency 50 to 60 hertz. And it has these pictures of little chicks hatching out of eggs. Let's not confuse you with what this device is. The way it fills, the way it adds humidity is that these tubes take water from the bottles and it fills up these channels, and then it evaporates, causing humidity. So the only way to adjust humidity is to open and close that tiny, tiny vent. As you can see, there's the tip of my finger. It's half the size of my fingernail. I can kind of feel humidity coming out of there. So we'll leave that closed. That's to give these 4 eggs hope. So these 2 little call ducks can have some brothers and sisters, hopefully, because our goal is to eventually get 2 females and a male. Like I said, if you do have the instructions for this, please let me know in the comments or provide a link. I received the original instructions for this incubator as a paper printout. Well, it wasn't a printout, it was a on nice glossy paper from the manufacturer, and it was folded as trifold. But over time it got wet and it started disintegrating and falling apart, and it just eventually disintegrated and got lost / thrown away because there just wasn't anything to it anymore. All right. If anyone else has any questions about this incubator, let me know. I'll try to answer as best as I can. Thank you and have a great day.